we should be talking of the responsibility of government and the commitment the government has and to quickly rescue Nigerians elsewhere. Of course, budgetary provisions and other things are issues that whoever will want to find out could find out. But the reality is we must commend the government for the swift reaction to save Nigerians from the conditions they were found in Libya. This is what exactly happened. As regard to other, we have what is called the fund established by law in the act which was enacted by the National Assembly. NEMA, apart from the appropriation, there is ecological fund being provided for it. There are any other sources that is mentioned, either donation or any other form of funding that it could get from the from any anybody or
if I may come in here, a question that my colleague asked was that you were said to have spent 1.6 billion naira to repatriate Nigerians from Libya. Did you actually spend 1.6 billion naira?
Did we have, can you come again?
Did you spend 1.6 billion naira to repatriate Nigerians from Libya?
No, the budget or our computation made while we are preparing the things was not actually about 1.7 years. It was to evacuate about 5,000 people. When we got there, we quickly swept into actions. Those readily available was about 2,130. The security situation in Libya was was terrible, so much so that so many days you could not even come out to carry out operations. So all those that were trapped within Tripoli and its environs were evacuated immediately. But there are also Nigerians at that time that were trapped in militia-controlled areas, which we had an understanding with IOM which this understanding started since 2011. We activated it to continue evacuating them as they negotiate and bring them out, and we receive them in Lagos as we used to do. That is how it is. So the balance of the money, as I'm talking to you now, which is about $2.5 million, has been returned to the treasury.
So you spent less than 1.6 billion naira?
I didn't hear that.
The question we asked was, did you spend 1.6 billion, but you say a balance of over $200 million has been returned to the...
No. $2.5 million.
$2.5 million has been returned to the federal government?
Yes.
So how much did you spend for the evacuation?
I don't have the script now, but I quickly remember because we sent our report to the president, gave the breakdown of all what was spent, and the balance I got to know just about 3 days ago, which I can quickly recollect, was $2.5 million returned to the
Is it that
government.
You spent...
If you extrapolate, you'll know how much was spent, yes.
Okay. So is it that you, NEMA, spent this amount of money to repatriate Nigerians from Libya? Isn't that the same thing that NAPTIP was said to have been doing as well? Or were you working together?
Well, NAPTIP's job was not to repatriate Nigeria. The mandate to repatriate Nigeria are provided by the relevant section of NEMA Act. It's NEMA to carry out that. But however, there are traffic-related issues. The NEMA DG was part of the fact-finding mission that went to Libya. They set out, they are part of the team that operated in the reception center in Pt.2. So we worked together, and all those cases that were identified to have such kind of criminal element, NAPTIP took over and then take care of it within the mandate the law provided for them.
So working together in sync with the hydrological agency, NEMA is able to have a bigger understanding of the scale of this flooding that we're faced with the hydrological agency is saying that figures that were recorded in 2012 are being met at this time. So we're expecting that that water is moving from uphill all the way down to the southern part of the country. As a matter of fact, it has affected Edo State with about 8,000 communities affected, and some deaths also recorded in the process. But I'm wondering what it is that you have 42 communities and 8,000 houses affected in Edo State. I'm wondering what NEMA is doing now, because this disaster is getting worse. And we understand that even some of the dams have not yet been opened. We have an understanding that the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon has not even yet been opened. So that means this water is going to get even worse. How prepared are you in helping those communities, 42 of them in Edo State today, not even talking about the ones in Kogi State?
Well, first of all, you know, we have operation office in Benin City. Apart from that, when this situation got to the level it is, we quickly set out a structure as provided by the relevant policy documents that the government has approved. That is setting out the National Emergency Operations Center and the Territorial Emergency Operations Centers. They are to work with all our zonal and operation office in the affected states. We have well-trained, highly skilled personnel in disaster management in all those operation and zonal offices. The emergency operations centers, the members come from all stakeholders. They normally sit together, coordinate the operations of all stakeholders within the area they are deployed. So all the communities from the personnel we have are deployed, the personnel are deployed to such communities for search and rescue operations to identify where there are challenges, problems, to provide, to cater for their immediate need of food and non-food related items. This is how the operation is being conducted as I am speaking to you now.
So what's your projection, your spending projections for this disaster that we have?
Well, in a disaster of this kind that is catastrophic, yes, we can estimate. The first preliminary estimate we provided to Mr. President was up to 3 billion, which he rightly approved for us to move in. And the mobilization of all equipment, resources, personnel, even the military support is already on ground. The day we were in Lokoja, the naval formation in Lokoja carry out rescue operations throughout the day. So this is how we do. Then when they really bring the people, we take them to the identified locations near to their location and then cater for their immediate needs. This is how the operation is going on. Of course, on the levels, I must tell you, as of today, as at yesterday, it was 11.14, which is more than what it was 2012, the same day, 10.61. So that is to tell you how really catastrophic this disaster, how threatening the flood incidence is to Nigerians and in particular to those 12 states we are talking about. That is why we step up our preparedness, we step up our operations in a manner that it has never been done in the past.
All right, Alhaji Mustafa Mehaja, Director General for NEMA. We appreciate your coming on this morning, and we'll look to get more information to the people before disaster happens. Thank you for coming on today on Sunrise Daily.